So I'm with Warren Nee. He was actually the winner of the sponsor exhibit table here at the Crowd Conference. This is the 2011 Crowd Conference. So Warren, tell me a little bit about that and how you guys won this great spot and what it means to you as a startup.
Yeah, so it's really exciting. The Crowdsourcing is this syndicate of companies that all share ideas about crowdsourcing and how best to do this whole big idea, this crowdsourcing. And they gave the opportunity to a bunch of startups to compete against one another to win this booth, win entry fees, win airfare, and even a hotel. So yeah, we were able to generate a bunch of support and get a bunch of people to retweet and raise awareness about this great conference, and we won the booth. So yeah, we're here today.
So tell me a little bit about your goals now that you're here. What do you personally hope to take away, and also for the business?
Take away here at
from
the event?
Conference.
Yeah, really we just want to raise awareness about Napkin Labs, what we are enabling businesses to do, and what that is to connect these brands, agencies, consultancies, and the brands themselves to connect with their communities online. So whether they're on Facebook or Twitter or anywhere else out there, we want to give them a place to channel those folks into a focused conversation so that these businesses can make better, more informed decisions.
About products.
It really can be about anything.
Client
we got
service,
clients,
everything.
Yeah. We got some companies that are focused on creating new products or refining products or focused on marketing messages. It's really up to the brand and what they want to learn from their customers. So it's a pretty flexible tool, and we got a lot of apps to really help them to isolate the conversation or focus the conversation so they can extract those types of insights and ideas out of the company customers.
So no brainstorming in the conference room. It's just a nap. That's wonderful.
Yeah, we love
We've
that.
all spent all those torturous hours
Yeah, we actually got a brainstorming app. Yeah. I think a nap is a very important part of a brainstorm. Yeah. They can be really draining, and I think that's I think that's an important part of what Napkin Labs is about, because a lot of these companies have these focused brainstorming sessions, and they last a couple hours, and those are really draining sessions. But what Napkin Labs allows you to do is to take a step away from those focused 2 hours, and allows you to spread out this brainstorming process through a period of time to allow folks to place those ideas into the system when the ideas are there, and sometimes even in the real context. Because the expectation for me to show up to a brainstorming session from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock on a Friday or whatever day it is.
Brainstorming.
Exactly. I mean, it actually probably puts your ideas in a box a little bit. I want to be able to share my ideas when I have them, when I'm experiencing that pain point, and I want a place to do that. Napkin Labs allows you to do that.
Yeah, and the other thing too, if I've worked at the same company for 10 years, I don't know that all my ideas are fresh. I don't know that all my experiences are fresh.
Absolutely.
So when you go out to the crowd, you're really bringing so much in terms of rich experiences.
Yeah, I mean, not only do you get new ideas from the crowd itself, it actually we found that it stimulates a lot of the internal folks, because they're able to have this conversation with their customers, and you oftentimes find that your internal employees are sort of rejuvenated. They're getting excited about coming up with ideas again. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I've really enjoyed talking with you. What would you say would be the message that you would send to workers that want to do crowdsourcing, and where you see crowdsourcing in the next 2 years from a worker perspective?
From a worker's perspective, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding clearly here. So Sony has their community, and that community is the workers, and is how you're defining it?
Yes.
Okay, so the message to workers out there, I think it's a pretty exciting one, because there really hasn't been a medium for these folks to get their voice heard. And with this idea of crowdsourcing and tools like Napkin Labs, these folks are empowered to let their voice be heard. And I think it's a pretty powerful voice that hasn't really been given an opportunity to be utilized. And these brands are starting to see that, and through platforms like Napkin Labs, these folks have that voice. So I highly encourage them to jump onto a site like Napkin Labs to make sure they're adding value, or basically giving their voice a place to get to the company so that it can be implemented into the brand.
So crowdsourcing is your friend, your ally, and Napkin Labs can certainly guide you there.
Absolutely. And as for the future of Napkin Labs, I think it's a pretty powerful one, again, focused on those customers. These brands are starting to see how powerful their voice is, not just in marketing, but in pretty much every single functional area of the business. So pretty soon here, you'll see these customers having a much larger impact, and again, beyond just marketing, it's going to touch every little thing. So I think these community members have a pretty big place in the future for these brands.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot more efficient than gathering 30 people in a room for a focus group.
Absolutely.
In some strange city with no real.
Absolutely, and there's a ton of benefit to the companies themselves because, gosh, they don't have the overhead of having this full timer on, having to pay benefits, etc. They can really spread out, distribute that cost, and frankly, these are the better folks for the job because ultimately they're the ones who are going to be buying the product. So they're the best resource. And
the example I think I saw online, and correct me if I'm wrong, was that you had a legal client that didn't want to touch some of that, and a medium-sized client where that wasn't his expertise, maybe marketing or something else, and he just went to you guys and was able to.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting in that vein. I mean, we're working with a lot of agencies right now, and a lot of companies, when they go to work with an agency, they're like, okay, we want a full-service integrated agency, and what we're seeing actually right now is a lot of agencies that are actually focused on just the creative, and they sort of farm out all these different pieces, so SEM work and production work and research work, and what's interesting about that is while the brands themselves are asking specifically for an integrated company, they're actually more willing to work with these companies that have farmed out these different expertise areas because it allows everybody to focus on what they do best. Yeah, so it's pretty exciting.
Well, listen, Warren, thank you very much.
No
this
problem.
Has been very informative.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I ran into you.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you.